Look at this behemoth of a starter, man. It's like a 1/4 inch away from the header. It's no wonder these things suffer from heat soak so bad. Well, this is one of our problems on our last wheeling trip, and we are going to deal with this one today. Let's get this thing out of here and I'll show you what the plan is. Alright, got the starter out. Here's our new gear reduction starter next to it. Look at the absolute massive difference in size here. Like, these things are way smaller. It's going to fit up in there way better. The nice thing about these things, besides the fact that they're smaller, is they actually are torqueier. So we got a better motor in a smaller package. There's a little bit of wiring to do. It's not too bad, actually. This is my original power cable for my starter. I just pulled it out of the truck. Normally your fender mounted relay would just connect right here and turn a key and off she goes, or maybe it doesn't because the header is a 1/4 inch away and starter's red hot. So we have to change it up a little bit. So I actually have this one down here. This is just off some rent a parts truck, and I'm not going to use this either, but it shows kind of what Ford did here. They just had one fancy rubber connector with 2 wires coming out of it. High current from the battery and then low current from the starter relay on the fender. And that's really all we're going to do here. We're just going to take I don't think I'm going to use this. I think I'm going to make a new one. I have 4-gauge cable left over from another project, so I'm just going to make a new cable, and we're going to go direct to here from the battery. Or maybe what you can do is you can just take it from this lug and you can move it over here to this lug, because that's your battery power, that's your switch side. And then all we have to do is really, you're only adding 1 wire to the vehicle at all. Just a small wire. I'm going to run 12 gauge from here down the same path right to here. Piece of cake. So I'm just going to dig in here. I'm going to lay some wires out, see how I want to route them so I can get them away from the header, or get them all loomed up, and then we'll come back. Starter is in, and look at us, we have a ton of room now, so I think this is going to work a lot better. Let's just get some wires fished down here and move on to the next project. All right, our new cable is like 95% done here. I got both ends crimped, soldered. I did put a little bit of a bend in this one just to help it make the turn past the oil pan. Everything's all loomed up, ready to go. I didn't terminate this end just yet. The scrap just happens to be 5.5 feet. It's just what I had on the rack, and it looks like it's going to be perfect, but I'm not going to crimp this on until I know for sure. So I'm going to throw this wiring harness in, and then we'll come back once we're doing our final connections up with the relay. Okay, ignore the mud. I haven't really cleaned the engine bay too well. So wiring is all done. Originally your power cable would have been over here. We've now moved it over here because we need battery power, and then our signal wire is right here, and that's it, man. Like, there's nothing else to it. It really is that simple. So that's all done. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna move over here. This is my emergency spare alternator. We are gonna grab that Power Master 200 amp 3G I had in here before, see if we can fix it, and if we can, we're gonna throw it back in and test it out. This is our Power Master 200 amp 3G alternator that we recently ruined in a mud pit. I don't know if you can see how this thing is pretty. Oh god, there's mud everywhere. Oh, we made a mess. Oh, it's gross. It don't charge no more. We're gonna open this thing up, see what went wrong. Maybe we can just clean it. Maybe we can fix it. Maybe we can throw it in the trash. I don't know, but we'll find out soon enough. So let's just kind of dig in here, see what we got. Okay, pulley off. Now, let's get our regulator off. That looks like it works. Oh, look at that. It's standard Ford torque size. Okay, let's get this guy off of here. Let's see these screws. So what we got here? Oh geez. Oh, okay. I don't know if you can see this or not. Brushes are a little, I mean, they're not terrible. Light cleanup. They look okay. This one, oh, maybe they're stuck. Oh, it's moving now. Look at that. Hey, look at that. That could be, oh, that's dirt. That could be part of our problem right there. Is that the brushes ain't moving. Now, in here, it's not too bad looking. It's a little dirty, but I mean, geez, it's only a couple months old, so I don't expect to see much wear. And let's get the back cap off and see if there's any damage to the stator. All right, put this thing apart. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now, this cap should just slip off the bearing. Should just slip off the bearing. There's the almost there. There it is. Okay. So, we're inside. We are going to take a look at the stator. And we got, all our connections look good. They all look good. There's a bunch of diodes in here, and they're kind of muddy. But I really don't see anything bad with any of them. I don't know how well you can see this. I don't see them. They all look fine. I really have a hard time believing there's anything wrong inside this thing. I think it's all in the regulator. Oh, there, regulators over there. I think it's all in there. So I think we're just going to try and clean this thing up a little bit, and we'll slap it back together, and we'll take another look at the regulator. You probably see the mess of dirt that has come out of this alternator while I'm working on it. So we've got the brush box basically all cleaned out now. If I pop the spring in there and we'll set the brush back in, and look at that. Oh man, it's so much better. Same thing with this one. Little spring and brush, and look at that. Good as new. Good as new. Alright, so we need a drill bit and brush. Okay, just like that, locked in place. And we can just slip this guy back in here. Okay, and there we go. Done. I guess there's nothing left to do now. Throw this thing in the truck and see if it works. Alright. PowerMaster Alt is back in, which means there's nothing left to do but turn the key and see if the starter and alternator work. Alright. Here goes nothing. Oh, she's running. And she's charging. Hell yeah. Alright. 2 out of 3 problems fixed. Now we just got to dig into this air intake and figure out what we're going to do so we do not have this problem again. We got to sort out this intake, right? So the 460 and even the 49, interestingly enough, has a nice wide open intake horn, but it doesn't come up here like the small block does. It actually comes way down here. It's actually really low to the ground. Like the bottom of it is way down here, down near the bottom of the grill. It comes out like 46 inches roughly. So if we come over here to this truck and typical 351 or 302, really doesn't matter, intake's up here. Interestingly enough, that truck with a 6-inch lift in 42s The bottom of the intake is at 46 inches roughly. This one's at 51, and it's a 4-inch lift on 33s. It's a remarkable increase. It's so much so that if I had that intake on this truck, we never would have stalled at wheeling. So that seems like the hot ticket. You know, why not just put the small block intake on the big block motor? Well, the problem is that it doesn't fit. All right, so here's an intake horn for a small block V8, and you would think you would just swap it on and go, except it hits the idler pulley here. So first thought is maybe we can move the idler over 2 inches towards the passenger side of the motor. I think it'll still work. We'll still get, it's not going to negatively affect our belt engagement on any of our pulleys. Arguably it'll get better because we'll have a little more belt running around the tensioner and around the power steering pump. So it might work. It's something I'm going to have to take apart and dig into. But then I found this, and this is actually a cowl induction kit for an old 6.9 or 7.3, and this bad boy is actually designed to bolt to the cowl way up here above your brake master cylinder up here. And that seems like the ticket, man. Like if we're going wheeling, like pulling your air intake from the cowl seems like a genius idea. However, the only issue it presents is it uses this round hose, and as we all know, the intake on the airbox is rectangular. So I do have another one of these air horns for the big block. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one out and take the other one out and experiment with it. Maybe I can turn it around, aim it towards the back, cut it off, and then I'm going to see if I can, it's square, you know? Maybe I can make something that will make it convert it from square to round, that I can slip this hose over, because that would be really cool if we could pull the air from way back at the cowl. And I think it would be like a better solution all around versus just trying to move the tensioner and then dealing with more weird custom parts. So, but I'm not really sure yet, so we're going to hold off on this one for now. I'm going to do a little more research, I'm going to do a little more tinkering, and we will come back to this one at a later date. All right, starter upgrade complete, alternator fixed, air intake. All right, look, all right, 2 out of 3 is not bad, right? So I'm pretty happy here. I'm gonna dig in, I'm gonna do a little more tinkering with that air intake, and we'll come back to that one at a later date. So I think that's a wrap.